2021 is about your voice. Make your voice heard by starting your podcast today. We make it happen. Pretty Easy Podcasts makes podcasting pretty easy.
Aloha, I am June Jones of the Houston Roughnecks, and this is the XFL Show.
If you smell what the XFL is cooking.
Welcome, football fans. This is For the Love of Football. This is the road to 2022, and this is the XFL Show. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bryant.
We haven't always been under the bright spotlight that comes with being super well-known XFL League personalities. We had humble beginnings. So why don't you sit back and relax? Because this is episode 158, and this is Young XFL Show. Bryant, it's all about just really connecting with people, telling them about how you came up as a youngster these days.
I can sit here and tell you how the XFL has been a part of my life since I was a young little boy, 20 years younger, about half the size, really just enjoying some football at the LA Coliseum.
Now, actually, I just thought of that. So we were doing the whole Young Rock gimmick, obviously, working the gimmick to start the show. Love that first episode. But actually, the XFL is not that young, technically. Would you consider the XFL young or a young adult? How do we classify that?
Oh, if you were born, look, I went to that first Chicago Enforcer LA Extreme game. I guarantee you there was a kid who was about 19 years old from that game after experiencing that. And do you consider a 19-year-old young?
Yes.
Then yes, the XFL's young.
I think one of the Young Rocks is around 19 on the show as well. Did you watch Young Rock?
I did not. I haven't recorded. It's on my DVR.
Fearless League Owners' new sitcom. Oh, it was good.
Time is precious around here with a young one.
I understand. Yes,
time is precious.
If you take that into account, so the owner of the XFL is a new sitcom on NBC. That's pretty cool. Not only
Tequila,
so you got
sitcom,
energy
drinks, everything. Movie star. I did watch Welcome to the Jungle.
Star of the world.
That helps.
Yeah, I like how he
look.
referenced
If watching Young Rock helps,
5 on the show.
If watching Young Rock helps with the money, and then I can get my job back, I'll watch it all day long on repeat.
Hashtag give us our jobs back. 724-565-4XFL is the number for you to call. Thanks for watching on the YouTube channel or listening on your favorite podcast app. You could be a part of the show by calling that number. Wherever you're listening to, you could hear yourself, get a question or a comment in on the show. That number is always available for you to call or text, 724-565-4XFL, at XFL Show on social media. And you could hit us up on Twitter. You could hit us up on the Instagram, wherever you want. We're there on social media.
Facebook.
It's the 21st century if you do that sort of thing. If you're over the age of 60, like
if you're not young XFL.
If you're not a young XFLer and you're on Facebook still, that's my goal before we go back up north, trying to get my father-in-law off Facebook. Wish me luck. Probably not going to happen. And of course, we are brought to you by Pretty Easy Podcasts. You could go to prettyeasypodcast.com to get your own podcast started just like us today with a whole lot of help getting your show sounding great, just like we do each and every single week, or at least you tell us we sound like. This is coming from Brian's favorite YouTube comments and reviews on Apple Podcasts. He's the one always saying, "Man, they're saying we're sounding good, we're doing great," and I say, "Yep, all right, well, we get through. That's the plan. Hopefully we forget about that, not think about that, and just talk about all the football we got on deck today, Bryant. I mean, fan-controlled football. Did you watch that this past weekend at all? I saw some on Twitch. Football on Twitch that wasn't.
I saw it on Instagram in GIF
football.
form. Yeah, I saw it on GIF form on Instagram, and Twitter is where I saw it mostly. So it looked kind of cool. I mean, it was arena football. Did you ever go to an arena football game?
It's arena football. I never went to.
I went to one.
I never went to
one of the best
LA
times I ever
Kiss
had.
Game. Avengers.
LA Kiss Avengers. I went to an Avengers game at Staples Center. We don't go down to Anaheim. Teams in Anaheim who call themselves LA don't count.
They do not.
How long has it been
That's
since
true.
you lived here?
That's true. That I never considered them the LA Kiss. I would just say that Kiss team out in Anaheim. But this was arena football. It was Johnny Manziel looking at a camera and smiling, if you like that. It had some cool plays, cool gifts, like Bryant said. As far as talent for the XFL, I mean, that's a crapshoot. We'll see how many players from this league attempt to be in the XFL. I'm assuming there might be one or two.
Attempt would be all of them.
Or make it.
Make it's a different question, yeah.
But definitely check it out. I mean, you got John Football in there. It's football. It's springtime.
What do you think of the conversions?
The conversions?
Yeah,
it's no
Gimmicky?
XFL. Yeah,
it's gimmicky. It's really
it's
gimmicky.
arena football. They're just having fun, and I'm all for that. So it's not the
you
kind
think
of
arenas are like,
we're
hey,
looking
look, we
for.
got nothing going on. You guys want to rent out this arena for a little bit? Come play some football. Sure. We have the old, Avengers field laid out. If you want to use that, come on in. It's like when a dad rents out the skating rink for his kid's birthday. Come on in.
What the hell you're doing in this league?
Let's have some fun.
It's like let's go to the roller derby. Let's go to the roller rink. Rent the place out. That way I don't have to have some creepy clown coming into the house this year. We'll just take all the kids there and ruin that place instead of our house.
Don't have to clean
and that's
up.
what's going on. But it's football on Twitch with real people, not, video game people like me watching John Madden video game players this last few hours for some reason for the first time ever before this show. Getting into the Twitch, though, and I'm about to do that Twitch that I've been teasing, that Tecmo Twitch. It's coming. But like Brian said at the top, time's precious. Time's precious. Got to savor it all.
We're not young anymore. We're
not.
Life's
We're gonna
real.
tell the story. Yeah, we're not.
Now, before
young
you and I would
anymore.
play Madden until 6 a.m, wake
my
up,
God.
do it all over again. Can't do that anymore.
Oh, man.
Can't do that
Yeah, I was
anymore.
playing some Madden 06 with my brother-in-law the other day. I got the itch. I was like, oh, I remember I used to be really addicted to this game and skipped many classes because of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. But dinking and dunking around life in the XFL, you got the owner is on a new sitcom. Check out Young Rock. Interesting. That does flash forward into the future. And I was disappointed that in 2032, Dwayne Johnson running for president doesn't mention that he also used to own or still owns a highly successful spring football league. So I'm hoping these were filmed before Young Rock or before the XFL was purchased by Current Rock. Because that would have been a nice way to sneak some XFL pub into the show. Yeah, I was in all these movies. I was in the WWE. And, the XFL's the biggest thing going in the world. They didn't say that. Spoiler alert for anyone who
it's because maybe his business ventures when you become president are really not supposed to be out in public too much. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, he is an upstanding individual on the show, just telling his story. Also, besides fan control football, we're going to talk more CFL later on, but we had some CFL talk last week, Brian, and
really?
Ruben, of course, and Ruben out in LA, aka Largo, hit us up, and it was very happy that we were talking some CFL. He's an Argos fan. I'm sorry for him, but at least he's into the CFL. He appreciated that talk, and he says there should be this is not the CFL show, that's true, but you can appreciate the CFL, and he's calling for an exhibition in the CFL. And if we get one, I want that Rough Riders LA Wildcats matchup. That would be what I'd go with. How about you?
Yes, Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Could you imagine the LA Wildcats going up to Regina
Rough Riders?
No, Saskatchewan, but they play in Regina.
So the Regina Rough Riders. Okay.
Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
But they play in Regina. Anyway. What about the
It's
Houston
like
Roughnecks?
it's like calling them the California Angels. That's how that goes.
Oh, Anaheim. Got it. I see what you're saying. I understand. Saskatchewan's the province.
Yes, that's how that works up there. Good job, eh?
Hey, no problem, A. B. Anyway, would I want to see an exhibition game? It would be fun. I won't lie. I do appreciate the CFL in that sense.
If there's ever a time for like that's gimmicky, you might say, but when's there a better time for something like that? I mean, in this day and age where these leagues are going to have to generate revenue, the CFL, we don't know if they're going to actually kick off in 2021. They're committed to it, but a great thing next year if they need to generate extra revenue, if the XFL's got teams, why not?
So why don't you do like this? So why not, if the CFL can kick off this year, you take like your top 2 teams and then the top 2 teams in the XFL and they play like a little 4-game or 4-team tournament in between seasons. Right? In between the XFL season. Why? That's like soccer rules, right? You take like
the
CONCACAF. The CONCACAF of football.
You got the Champions League. I mean, it is funny how here I don't know, because in the North American culture, we're not mixing all of our leagues like they do in Europe, which is so crazy to all of us. But maybe it's not that crazy. Maybe
we only have one league. What are you going to mix the what is there? Canadian Football League with the NFL? Come on.
Well, no, but maybe.
Okay, where basketball?
The XFL,
what's the ABA, the NBA. What's the ABA doing nowadays?
Does Mexico has a no, they don't. They have a football league, I think.
Yeah, and we have the
collegiate football in Mexico.
When your entire continent plays soccer at high levels, it's fine. When you have a continent that one plays hockey, everyone plays everything soccer down there, it doesn't count. It doesn't work.
I guess he's right. So, but with spring football, it
would be fun.
More similar. It could happen. Maybe. Probably not, but we could dream. Ruben, thanks for listening to the show. I guess good luck to your Argos who are just signing everybody. And we're going to get into that in a little bit, including XFL legends that some would say literal huge figures from the XFL 2020. But yeah, there we go. Brian dinking and dunking around the XFL.
Well, I have a YouTube comment if I can. I mentioned to you.
Oh,
I wanted to bring it up.
You and your YouTube, you love the YouTube
this
comments.
Is a good one.
I don't go down those screens too far because you'll see some vile stuff. But on our page, it's generally fun, good football talk, good crisp football talk.
Good crisp football.
Really, it was just a comment from last week's show from Gregory Crawford, and he said, "I love the show. Keep it up." Yes. I live in Birmingham, but can't wait to attend a Battlehawks game at the Dome. We did that, Alan. I think this week would have marked a year since we've been there. Hey, the XFL is just Hey, the XFL is just plain fun to watch. There's high energy on the field and in the stands. DC, I love the beer snake. Wow, that had to be fun. So good luck, XFL. There are millions of fans awaiting your return. And I do want to correct you a little bit, Gregory.
And millions.
It's not there are millions. There are millions and millions of fans awaiting your return.
Back to work we go.
All right, there you go. The
YouTube
YouTube
all around
comments,
tweet of how great the XFL was.
It was, and it's going to be. And what about the energy of the podcast from the league too? I mean, just keeping it going with no football going on. Got to give it up to that too. That's what we're here for. We are just keeping that pace going. Everybody could just use us as the pace car. down the road to 2022. That's what we're doing here. And we have some really actually, interesting, but I will admit, nerdy type of news to get
Insurance.
into. Not that bad. This is
Taxes.
I'm in a world of taxes. This is an accounting office we're doing this show from. But nerdy, but also kind of exciting, and gives you a lot of hope for the buzz that could be generated for 2022, because you got The Rock already going for the XFL, but there could be a lot more in terms of what's going to be pushing this league into the mainstream. You're ready, Bryant. I'm ready to get a little nerdy with it in this week's Cover 2.
Go ahead, get out of here.
All right. Josh Gerben,
Friend of the show.
filed for trademark the XFL. He Hate Me, according to Josh Gerben. So He Hate Me, everyone remembers from Young XFL. Rod Smart.
Rod Smart was in Young XFL. Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just
I'm young.
Okay.
Sorry.
Las Vegas Outlaws. He Hate Me. If you're new to the XFL, you don't know who He Hate Me was, definitely just Google He Hate Me. We've talked about him.
He Hate Me?
Who is
he?
he?
Hate me? He hate
Who
me?
is he?
He Hate
We've
Me.
talked about He Hate Me long time ago on this show, but maybe the most remembered person or just thing from the original XFL.
Top 5, at least, yeah.
And so now He Hate Me's trademarked by the new ownership. And according to Josh Gerben, as you see on the screen there, it's for clothing. So a He Hate Me clothing brand, Bryant. I'm down for that. I'd wear some He Hate Me joggers or a He Hate Me hoodie. What about you? Would you wear some He Hate Me
I just
merch?
want them. I just want them to be the new Juicy Couture, and they just put "He Hate Me" on my back, on my butt. You know, as I'm walking away. That's what I really want.
I don't know. In that case, does that mean that he is the toilet? He hate me. He don't want none of this. He hate me.
It would be so I guess they're gonna. It looks as top shirts, jackets, sweatshirts, bottoms, pants. So all types of clothing, even Halloween and costumes, footwear.
Oh my god! I cannot
shoes,
wait
sneakers,
to buy my
everything.
wife some He Hate Me pajamas for the holidays. I can't wait. That's gonna be the thing to do.
Now the
I like
thing
that
is,
it
"He
says
Hate
also
Me" is perfectly centered, right? So you can put the "he," "ha," and the "t," "me."
Yeah.
You know,
Did you notice also it says under the filing masquerade costumes?
yeah, it's the best. Masquerade. Just walking around with your little.
See, when this pandemic's over and we can finally go see Phantom of the Opera together, I'm gonna be wearing my He Hate Me mask
Mask.
when I go see it. I cannot wait. But that's all right, that's not the nerdy stuff. That's actually the cool hip stuff.
That's the funny
look
stuff.
Look out, Mark Echo. Look out, Juicy Couture, and all.
I think most of these
of
brands don't exist anymore, but I think He Hate Me has got some success behind
pure
it.
players. We're coming for you. He Hate Me. I can't wait.
Now, does Rod
but-
Smart have any on that? I don't know.
I don't think so. And I think I do remember he went missing and was found last year, which was kind of scary. But the legend lives on and will live on, and that is really exciting. If you're a true long-time young XFLer like us, and you love He Hate Me or remember He Hate Me, hearing this news is pretty awesome because they were kind of staying away from this on the 2020
That's a good
XFL.
point.
And there were rumors, maybe they'll bring him in for a coin toss or something for week 1 or something. Never came to fruition.
Well, there was no
Rod
ties
Smart-
between, other than
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, there was
They
no
cut him.
tie between the two.
I love this embracing. There was good in 2001. Let's remember. Let's
Yeah,
embrace
it's all
it.
in the NFL right now.
This also gives me some hope that Tommy Maddox will be enshrined in the XFL Hall of Fame whenever that's built.
We should bring back, what was it, XFL Legends?
Yes,
We haven't done that in a
roll
long
that
time.
out. We'll roll that out maybe sometime when it gets a little warmer.
That's a
But
good question, though. Are you excited for the nostalgic aspect that it looks like the XFL is trying to bring back for 2022?
Sounds like a Twitter poll question at XFL Show. Let us know. Do you like that they're embracing some of the history of the XFL? I sure do. Oh, gloves too. I'm gonna get me some He Hate Me gloves for the
Just
next
one.
winter, hopefully.
Oh, wait.
Here's the
Knuckles.
second part.
He hate like this. He hate me.
He Hate Me brass knucks. All right. Part 2 of the cover 2. Kind of getting nerdy here because I was doing research, digging into what this purchase means, what these companies are. Oh, yeah, excuse me. Let me get talking about media entities and media companies, ownership, ad agencies, marketing. So Redbird Capital, Bryant, owner of the XFL, along with Danny Garcia and The Rock, this past week purchased a minority stake in Wasserman Media Group. You want to ask me what Wasserman Media Group is?
Wasserman Media Group, WMG.
Yes, WMG. What is Wasserman Media Group? Well, they are an agency. They're big time. And they're creeping up to, I mean, we're talking about like CAA level. That's the big, well-known agency, sports and entertainment and all of it. Wasserman Media Group, a minority stake, which apparently is 30 to 40% stake for Redbird Capital now in Wasserman Media Group, according to Sportico, has ties now in, I guess you would say indirectly, or they're under the same umbrella as the XFL essentially now. And this all these businesses that groups like Redbird Capital buy in, it's called synergy. It's nerdy business terminology. If you watch stuff like Shark Tank, this stuff might interest you. If you watch football and only care about football, you're saying who gives a damn? Well, why this is important is that just even having a cousin, it's like having a really cool cousin named Dwayne Johnson. Maybe you could get him to show up at the end of a Royal Rumble and help you out. It's that kind of stuff going on here. The XFL has now ties to Wasserman Media Group through their owners, Redbird Capital, and we're talking about an agency that's connected to big-time athletes like Megan Rapinoe. They've dealt with Andrew Luck, Giancarlo Stanton, but also the leagues themselves in the NBA, the MLB. They were behind huge social media campaigns that really blew up the Michael Jordan documentary that came out last year, Bryant. They themselves have ownership in an ad agency called Laundry Service that I was really diving into and nerding out. And this is like all these major online campaigns you've probably seen show up in your Instagram feed or wherever you're on social media. These people are behind a lot of the sports-centric stuff that was big in 2020, connected to the Wasserman Media Group. All of this stuff, all these connections to big-time names like Katie Ledecky and Russell Westbrook in the Premier League, like these entities all being just even loosely affiliated with the owners of the XFL can be what they say is leveraged, Bryant. Leveraged to amplify the presence of the XFL. It's pretty big time. It's a major step for Redbird Capital as a group, and owning the XFL, that's one piece of their puzzle. And then they have these other pieces, and they put them together to create a pretty economic picture for themselves and help all their different assets out. I think could only help the XFL in terms of visibility and maybe some interesting connections. Like they've been talking about this. It's going to be very different in terms of what you see on the screen for the XFL when it comes to people who are talking about it, advertising. This is great, I think, in terms of hopefully making XFL mainstream in 2022.
So in what I'm gathering, the Wasserman Media Group has their hands in a lot of different entities across the world. It seems like when you bring in the Premier League, all these different athletes, it seems like they're well versed into the world of entertainment and sport. Now
Big
you
time.
bring in Redbird Capital, who now owns a minority stake in the Wasserman Media Group. Do they now apply all of their entities and shift them to be under the Wasserman Media Group as well?
Well, I don't think there's not going to be one giant umbrella. I don't think that's how this works. This is just having channels that can connect to each other. Whenever you have all this money, this is like the umbrella, and all this money that kind of has their hands in all these different pots and is able to shift stuff to help other parts of help their money make money. That's what these people are all about, these capital groups. So when you say, okay, well, some of their money is the XFL and some of their other money is connected to a big time agency, they're going to be able to get influencers talking about the XFL, whomever that might be, when it comes to what you're going to need to do in the social media world for growing a sports league. It really speaks to how The Rock and Danny Garcia, especially at the beginning when they bought the league, were talking about doing things in a different way, thinking outside the box, and leveraging everything that they're a part of to help the XFL grow. So, yeah, you can really nerd out on some of this, go down a crazy rabbit hole like I did.
Well,
but this is what you need to know. All right, this is also something that we'll just kind of, in plain English, I found this on Forbes. $330 million in earnable commissions in 2020. The Wasserman Media Group rapidly growing and gaining ground on CAA, which is the biggest agency, for the top spot on the Global Sports Agency rankings. So the owners of the XFL now have a minority stake in what is possibly going to be the biggest sports agency in the world. Great. That's a great advantage to have, a great connection to have when it comes to finding talent, getting visibility, growing the league. This isn't just some kid with daddy's money paying a bunch of ex-NFL people. Now, Brian,
to play arena football for the weekend.
Yeah, and this is even different from Vince McMahon, a media mogul, a single source of money and funding and ideas. It's even more than that. This is a huge. These are huge conglomerates, basically, that are all about growing all these different assets and using other entities to help each other out, to help them grow, help them get visibility, help them get market share, as they say. This is way different from what we've seen the last few years with spring leagues. There's some muscle besides the giant superstar in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson behind the XFL now. Like, you can't, I know we talk a lot about Danny Garcia and The Rock owning this league. Redbird Capital is a part of that group too. And that is a great thing, I think, in terms of really utilizing a lot of different social media, big names besides The Rock, just creative minds who are putting out some of the catchiest ad campaigns going on. Like, they're going to be doing a great job, I think, when it comes to finally pushing this thing forward and promoting the XFL.
Now, do you feel like Redbird Capital, they obviously have the financials to support this league? Remember, Vince McMahon notably had committed, obviously COVID derailed that plan, but $500 million for this league. Do you think Redbird Capital is willing, or seems to be willing, to make that same commitment, or then some?
Yeah, let's see how that happens. Is this a group that's worth more than Vince McMahon collectively? I don't know. We'd have to really dive into some numbers and nerd out. And I don't know if I want
because
to
you're talking
do that.
about Redbird has stakes in Yes Network, right? They have tons of things. They're tied with the NFL in some aspects as well.
And the
if you go to
WWE is
website-
freaking huge, and they're pulling in huge money. And Vince McMahon is a billionaire, but this is a lot of different irons on all over the fires here. And
Does Redbird own a soccer team?
yeah, Toulouse in France. Like these are groups that know how to manage many different things. And they put people in all sorts of different spots in terms of who they really delegate who's going to really help things grow. And they have so many options for doing that. And when it comes to the XFL, let's see how much they value it compared to some of the other stuff they own and are focused on. But having all these options really bodes well for the XFL in terms of getting the attention from people besides, Danny Garcia and The Rock. And I feel like Danny Garcia is really going to put a whole lot of heart and soul into this. I think The Rock is definitely going to put a lot of heart and soul into this, of course. But in terms of financial backing and people power, the people actually working on growing the XFL, that's where that's going to come in. And Redbird Capital's resources, I think, are really important here. We can't gloss over that. As kind of
first time
tough it might be to talk on a football podcast.
Yeah, well, I think this might be the first time, or at least the most significant time, where it's not just a single person or entity. The WWE back in 2001 was not what the WWE is now. So WWE back then was kind of had money, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they had the financial commitment to go this long haul. That's what they had NBC. The XFL had Vince McMahon. The AAF had, I forget who their backing was. That didn't really pan out. And then you had the
Tom Dundon.
Tom Dundon try to take over, and he just nixed it all.
Ripped up all those contracts. And
a lot of these financial companies are in it for the long haul, 5-6 years. They know it takes to make their money back. And makes these investment firms and whatever they want to be, they'll take the time. And I think the money's there. Obviously, they're out there spending money. It's not like they bought the XFL and haven't spent any money since. It's like they decided one morning to wake up and buy the XFL and do what they need to do with it. So, as it pertains to the XFL, I think it's a good. It's a good show of that Redbird Capitals is willing to do whatever they can to kind of expand their portfolio.
That is corporate people talk, and we're not usually about that, but understand we want you to be an informed football freak on this road to 2022. If someone asks you, is that football league The Rock owns? Yeah, The Rock's an owner in this group, but there's muscle behind the XFL. There's creative minds behind the XFL, and there's also, the biggest star in the world behind the XFL and the first female owner of a league in the XFL. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. And like Brian said, the portfolio for Redbird Capital growing, that is resources that the XFL might actually have access to, which can only help the league. So be excited and be hopeful for 2022 because the people who are behind it definitely have the credentials to make it a success. We'll see what they actually do with it. That's a whole nother ball game, but you would figure with those resources could be pretty special. Okay.
Now, just Redbird Capital putting it out there. If you want to invest in any more entities, this is the XFL show at gmail.com if you're interested. And if it's too long, the XFL show at gmail.com works as well.
Yeah. That's fine too. Or you could hit our manager up at alan@prettyeasypodcast.com.
Different Alan.
Yeah. He's a great guy though. Easy to negotiate with. All right. Nerded out enough now. How about we go a little Canadian on him now. It's not going to be too much CFL, I promise. This is not the CFL show. This is going to be this is the reality of the availability of players conversation, Brian.
You were I can get behind that fully. Not 90% in Canadian, 100% in American.
Kind of a reality check on this week's Hot Read. So all week long, I had a great time just throwing.
Oh my God. I
throwing,
muted you on
links,
Discord.
Links into our Discord show preps chat. So-and-so signed with the XFL. This guy signed with the XFL. Hey, look, another guy, or the CFL. Another guy signed with the CFL. Kermit Whitfield, Quadri Henderson, Sean Oakman. Yeah, the Sean Oakman. Brian's like, damn it, we got a lot of CFL talk coming up again. How about we discuss just if this means there won't be a lot of players available for the XFL? Because, whoa, you see like a legitimate amount of former XFL talents going up to Canada, including friend of the show, Dan Williams. Did you see that? He's going to be with Calgary.
He ran up there. He caught something and just ran all the way up to Canada. No one touched
Probably
him.
ran over a few guys too. Yeah. So that might lead some people to say, oh, God, the XFL will have no players to sign. They're all going to Canada or the NFL, or I don't know. But that's not the case, Brian. You can't, not so fast.
Convince me.
CFL, first of all, the CFL might not even play in 2021. Commissioner Randy Ambrosi says they're dedicated to playing, but the reality is they've lost millions of dollars because they canceled 2020, and the pandemic is still not over. And even though Canada this week said a lot of their population might get vaccinated by June, which would coincide with the CFL opening up for business for live action, but we'll see. We're seeing teams sign free agents left and right up there, though. That's an interesting thing. Mm-hmm. But also, you have a team like Edmonton, who's really got rid of a lot of their staff in the offices there. So is that a signal?
They just signed all the Tampa Bay last week, didn't they?
And they signed some Vipers. But see, so there's a lot of conflicting trends. And there's a lot of reports saying one thing, and some are saying, hey, this season might not happen, or maybe it's better it doesn't happen. So, first of all, the CFL taking players from the XFL, don't worry about that. I would not worry about that really too much. Plus, even if the CFL does indeed play this year, we saw with the AAF, we saw with the XFL, we're seeing with the CFL. We even saw with the Spring League, Brian. Right now, football talent is out there. If you need it, it's out there. There are damn good players, even at quarterback, which I know everybody worries about. There are good players to be had. So even if the CFL's going on, the XFL will have plenty to choose from that you will be interested in watching and that will deliver when they get to the chance to go out on the field, which is what the league's all about in the first place. The Rock even said it in an interview this past week. So don't worry about it. And besides Taylor Cornelius, none of the quarterbacks from the XFL last year are going to Canada. And who knows how many of the guys that are currently in the NFL will still be in the NFL come 2022, Brian. Except Taylor Heineke, he's obviously going to be in the NFL for the next 20 years.
He might be. We can take a look at all those quarterbacks, right? These are the ones you're mentioning, Alan. We were there at the draft when they announced these 8 quarterbacks. Am I worried? No. I'm going to say that to start because it's going to sound like I'm worried. I'm not worried. I'm not worried that the XFL can find players. But as a casual, I'm a little more than a casual college football fan, but as a football fan that doesn't recognize player names very easily, when I saw this list, I noticed Landry Jones, Cardale Jones, and Luis Perez because I watched the AAF. Other than that, I really didn't know any of those quarterbacks. And come to think of it, most of those quarterbacks didn't shine, right? It was the ones that I didn't know. So that's why I'm not too worried. I might not know the players that the XFL are going to grab, but I didn't know who PJ Walker was. I didn't know who Jordan Ta'amu was on this morning when we walked into the office at the XFL headquarters, and this list was out. So I'm not worried, but at the same time, I just don't know who they're going to sign. But I'm sure there's talent out there. Tons of it. Tons and tons. Because a lot of these players weren't even on anybody's radar, probably not even the CFL's radar, when the XFL grabbed them.
Yeah, and okay, think about, how many good quarterbacks are in college football? How many of them will be prepared to play in a league like the XFL? Dozens, if they want to. And that's, I think, where a lot of the scouting by the league will probably be done. We'll try to pull from the college ranks over the next last year and this coming year. And then these guys we're specifically talking about, like, they're not that much older going into the 2022 season. And, sure, PJ Walker's in Carolina, Taylor Heineke's in Washington. I'll give you Tom, who is in KC on the practice squad, but Luis Perez, he's chilling. I'm sure he's waiting for the XFL to come back. I hope he is. I don't think there's a quarterback I want to see more in 2022 than him return, Mr. Spring Football.
And hey, I'm going to call you out real quick because you weren't very excited when Luis Perez was signed to the LA Wildcats, right?
No, because I was of the opinion that the Birmingham Iron? What were they?
Iron.
They could have done more on offense. I liked his story. I love bowling. But yeah, okay. Especially
he
seeing
taught
the
himself
other teams.
how to play quarterback on YouTube. You've taught yourself how to
him.
podcast on YouTube. Same thing.
True.
You guys are one and the same, basically.
Damn, you're right. Luis Perez is a lot like me. Well, I want to know more about young Luis Perez. Young Luis coming to NBC next year. You got Matt McGloin. He's podcasting out there. I don't know if he'd play again. He looked like, I don't know if he could handle another XFL season. But BJ Daniels, super athlete, super athletic. Is he coaching, I think, now? I mean, I'm sure he might be. Landry Jones, doubt it. He's probably icing his knees. Cardell Jones, he's tweeting too much. I don't think he's ready.
Sonicin.
Who the hell knows where Brandon Silvers is? But these guys might take a stab at the XFL again. Not to mention, don't forget about the guys who were riding the pine for those guys. Like guys like Brogard Roback, Eric Dungy. I mean, these backups in the XFL were Connor Cook, super young quarterbacks who might still want to play professionally. So don't forget Nick Fitzgerald. Don't forget about them. Plus all the talent that will flood into the pro ranks, whether it's the NFL, the CFL, the XFL. There will be talent because football players in 2021 and moving forward are, I think, just better. Athletes are better. Players are better. The game has evolved and so have the players.
PJ Walker took someone's job. Jordan Talmu took someone's job. And those players are now available. I think this is something we never get to experience with spring football, and it's the rotation. Because players, once they get off that rookie deal, the 5-year deal, whatever it is, teams opt to say, I'm going to go with the cheaper player instead of keeping you around. And those players just become available every single year. So it's not just the young talent from from college. It's also the players that are no longer NFL capable players for whatever reason, financially speaking. Maybe they banged up a knee, nobody wants to give them a try. Maybe they've been on a practice squad for 4 years. Who knows? Those players are going to become available, and I think just because you don't know them, don't fret. Don't be scared. That's why I'm saying it sounds like I'm worried. I'm not. I'm just not going to know the players that they're bringing in. Ask me who they're going to bring in, and ask me.
Who are they bringing in?
I have no idea, but I'm not worried because I will find out and I'll know who those players are. Exactly. I didn't know who Dan Williams was a year ago. Did you know who Dan Williams was? Even week one? Maybe a little more than a year ago? No idea. And now we're don't take him. Don't take him. Please don't take him. Like,
can you believe Taylor Dan Cornelius went to the CFL?
Like,
what are we going to do? Oklahoma
the
State
only person
who knew that was Vince. Quarterbacks.
Yeah, Vince was the only one who knew who Taylor Cornelius was. So everyone breathe. Yes, they're taking all these players. Don't even get me started on why the CFL is taking these players. I can get. Is this a CFL podcast? Because I can get into that if you want it to be.
They're really signing a lot of free agents, more than I've been following the CFL. I think this is my fourth year. I haven't seen action like this in an off season. It's pretty nuts.
And so, I like I said, I don't know who they're going to sign, but I'm not worried. I'm fine. Because Landry Jones was the one player I knew, and he didn't really pan out very well. So Maybe it's better that I don't know who they are.
Exactly. And just know that that's the one thing, is know that football players are just better nowadays. And then you can't compare it to 2001. And if you saw in 2020 the product the XFL put on the field with a lot of the talent that just hardworking scouts went out there and found, 2022 season will be fine when it comes to talent, even with the CFL on this grind of signing all the free agents in the world. And also take note, when we're talking quarterbacks, Tim Tebow just retired from baseball, Bryant, so there's always that. My God, I hope he comes back.
I mean, it'd be great. It'd be a great story.
Just for a tryout or some sort of not fan-controlled football, Tim, which I think he wouldn't do. But
do you think Cardinal is it Cardinale or Cardinal? I don't know.
I say Cardinale because
Cardinale. Do you think he's texting Rock right now? What are you doing? We're not signing Tim Tebow. What are you talking about? When are you going to let this? Rock's like, me and Danny are just letting this simmer. Have some, get our names out there for a little bit. I mean, look, it'd be great. Don't get me wrong. But what is he? 32, maybe somewhere in that range now ish. Tim Tebow.
Yeah, he's got to be like just over 30. I would say off the top of my, I'm gonna say 31. He's younger than me, and I'm young Al. So he's
Tim Tebow is 33, so we're a little.
Oh damn, he's my age. All right.
Well, either way, I hope the XFL again. I'm gonna put this out there. I hope this show does not age well. I hope we get something that all of a sudden comes out, and all of a sudden we're gonna have to do an emergency recording because hey. The XFL made some blockbuster announcement. But either way, you can still catch us here every single Friday, right here on your favorite podcast app, Google, Apple, Stitcher, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you give us that 5-star review and tell your friends about us. Oh, 5 stars. I gotcha. If you got a question, comment, or a topic you want us to cover, well, then text or call the XFL Fan Line 724-565-4XFL. Careful, Alan. Standard text messaging rates do apply. Also, follow us on all social media gimmicks at XFL Show, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. And then also, hey, if you want to say hi to us or see Alan hit himself in the face with clips and rubber bands, that's on YouTube. No. So subscribe and watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/This Is the XFL Show, the official YouTube page of the XFL Show. And of course, don't forget our sponsors, Pretty Easy Podcast. Go to prettyeasypodcast.com. Get started today because they make podcasting pretty easy.
It's not my office. I'm not in my comfort zone, my element, so I'm all hit myself in with clips. Can't shoot a rubber band like I used to. I'm all out of whack. But the good thing is I have my bonsai tree, Brian, to really calm me.
You take your rubber bands, you make a rubber band ball. That's what the old people do. Can't shoot them anymore, so you make a rubber band ball.
See, but young Al, he shoots rubber bands still.
And gets stuck in the eye. You're like Billy Madison right now.
Just true, and I'm just like Young Rock buys a car for $103 or whatever it was. Watch that show. It's hilarious. And also get hyped because the XFL, it's coming. And like Brian said, hopefully this all doesn't age well. But just know that when we get wrapped up in all the big announcements and all the major ad campaigns and the rollout of the league, just remember these shows, though. Just know that you've got this base of XFL fandom with you because you've been following along with us the whole way. We appreciate you so much, and we got to get out of here. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some news. If not, either way, it's going to be good crisp football talk right here. So keep following along.
Alan, ask me what we're going to talk about next week. Ask me.
Ooh, I think the answer is going to be the same as who they're going to sign in terms of players, but I'll go ahead. What are we going to talk about next week?
I have no idea, but it's going to be a good show.
It's true, but also that's mainly because, damn, I'm good at putting a rundown together. What will I have for you next week? You'll have to wait.
Give us our jobs back.
For Bryant, I'm Alan. This is the XFL Show. Remember, they're listening.